as you can imagine, I'm probably in favor of concept number 3. And I was wondering if you could tell me what the $220,000 would be as a percentage of the library budget. In other words, if it's like only 3% of the current library budget, it may be something that we can work with. If it's 30% of the library budget, then it's out of the question.
I don't have the library budget in front of me. For the town budget, the library is funded through the town. It does receive a very small grant from the province based on population, so that wouldn't change if the library offers more space. It would really be coming back to town council to ask for the money. It's around, for every 1% of your tax dollars, it's about $275,000. So if you're talking about a $220,000 increase each year, it would be similar to I think it's about a 0.8% tax increase, and that assumes that it's all funded from the tax roll, and that would be a decision of the council.
The needs of the community. Well, you mentioned that you had emails and phone calls about the library closing. I would like to tell you that the needs of that community is a library, and that was represented very much by the almost 1,000 people who signed a petition. By the way, you did not mention a petition that went in at the end of January with almost 1,000 signatures from that immediate area. My two friends and I did that in the snow and the winter cold. We went house to house just in those few streets, and we got almost 1,000 signatures. If you look at the addresses, they're mostly from that area. So I propose that we keep some kind of library service for that community, which is mostly seniors who cannot get to that other library. And you say in your slide that the 2 branches may have to be delayed by a year or 2 in order to keep our library, our branch library. Well, I think they can wait another year or 2 and drive to the new main library for that 1 or 2 years.
Thank you. And the petition is mentioned in the report, so I apologize. You're right. Well, I wasn't. That was simply an oversight. It was part of the correspondence that we did receive. Thank you.
You said in your report that the decision to sell or to relocate the library to the new location was made years ago. I don't think we were made aware of that. And where in town council minutes could we find that information that that decision was made?
My understanding is that that decision was part of the input process for several studies. One would have been the civic feasibility study complex that resulted in the new town hall, that resulted in your new arts center and the new main library. It was all considered as part of that process. I believe that would have been around 2001. And prior to that, there was consideration of this through the Destiny Milton 1 and Destiny Milton 2 studies. So it has been something that has been discussed for several years.
Would it make more sense to sell 45 and use 407 for a small library?
Certainly under that scenario, the question was if you sold 45 Bruce and 407 and kept 407 behind, and using 407 for the smaller branch library. I'll start there. It is a smaller building. It is not nearly as accessible. It does have a ramp, but that ramp I think doesn't really have a long-term future. So there would be a need to really put some money into that facility, and it will still be slightly above grade 2,000 foot footprint on each level. So you do have some accessibility challenges there. We would also suggest that 2,000 square feet Probably isn't really enough to accommodate some staff workspace and the space that you would need for the books. Is it an option? Sure. You know, I guess everything is to a degree, but we didn't see it as being something that would be user-friendly or cost-effective to the degree that it would really meet what we're hearing. You know, if library services were offered, we don't think it would really fit with what many of you are saying.